for the day. I'm Paul McKinney. I'm one of your 6 hosts and organizers for the Texas Pinball Festival, and just wanted to personally thank all of you for coming out, and those of you that brought machines to help us support and put this event on every year. It's greatly appreciated. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time up here, but I wanted to introduce Jack Canary, and he is also known as Jersey Jack. I'm real excited to be attending this presentation as well, as I've ordered my machine, so I'm looking forward to it. And Jack's also been gracious enough to not only have his seminar today, but to feed you guys right after the seminar.
They didn't taste the pizza yet, so.
We had it last year.
Well, thank you. Thanks again, Paul. I appreciate it. Good morning, everybody. And I made myself a few notes so I don't go wandering around talking like a monkey in the tree. I see everybody wearing Jersey Jack shirts, which is really cool. Whole families and everything. It's so much fun for me because this year, it's not last year. So last year was kind of like a dream in a way to say, some crazy guy with a funny accent up north, one of those Yankees, is going to start a company and he's going to build pinball machines. And Steve, you can sit right in front if you want. You can come up here and sit right here. That's my buddy, Steve. That's my buddy. And you should be in the front. You belong in the front. You're the king. So a year ago, I had this crazy idea what would seem to say, well, we're going to build a pinball machine, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and we're going to do a lot of other things. And, you know, luckily there were enough people, many in this audience, that believed. You know, it was like religion. So you believed without seeing anything. And then I appreciate that, and I appreciate the reputation that we've built over the years and the confidence that everybody's placed in me and my team and all of us and what we're doing. And, you know, when I think about it in a way, and friends of mine outside the industry kind of find out, what's this pinball thing and Jersey Jack and you're doing Wizard of Oz, and how did that come about? And, you know, well, you're going to build this game, and who are you going to sell them to? Well, we already got more than 1,000 games sold. Really? Really? So it proved to me, again, that a community can build a pinball machine, and what you really did was you believed in me, you believed in our people, you believed in what we were doing, and you believed in the future of pinball, because that's what we're really working on. We're bringing the game, no disrespect to Steve or anybody else, but we're bringing the game into the 21st century with a lot of different things that haven't been done before or haven't been done in a long time. And I've said it before, we're really creating something that you don't even know you want yet. And that's a really cool thing, and that's kind of what the secret, what Apple did, you know, if you think about it in a way, who really knew, and I've said this before, who really knew they needed an iPad until they got an iPad? And, you know, probably if we asked our customers, or if Henry Ford, let's say, asked his customers what they wanted, you know, they would have told them, well, we want a faster horse. They wouldn't have told them, well, we want something with a motor in it and we want to drive around. So it's not going to be so radical that you're going to look at it and say, this is not a pinball machine. Today I'll show you some pictures of some things too. I'll talk for a little bit, we'll do a question and answer, and we're going to eat, and I'm flying up to Milwaukee right after this to be at the Midwest Gaming Classic, because for some reason, those guys don't understand that you have a show this weekend. I don't know what's the matter with them. This year I found myself in the interesting position of sponsoring that show because the people that were sponsoring it before just decided they don't care about pinball and they don't want to sponsor the show, so I'll sponsor the show. So if they decide they don't want to do anything with any other show, I'll go to my wallet and we'll sponsor that show too. The good thing is next year at this show, I completely expect to see a dozen Wizard of Oz games, you know, that you guys are playing on the tournament downstairs. let me check my notes to see how far off I was from what I wanted to start with. I want to thank, Ed Van Der Veen, and all his people, Paul McKinney. Ed's wife picked me up yesterday and came at the airport. Somebody pulled up with a car that said Stern Pinball on it and was waiting for me to get in, and I wouldn't get in. I don't know where they were going to take me. I didn't get in the car, so I waited for Kim. The bad thing was, I didn't know what she looked like, and unfortunately they know what I look like because there's pictures on websites and stuff like that. So I'm at a great disadvantage. To all of those of you that have come up to me and said really nice things to me, which everybody said, in all different ways, shape, and form, I really appreciate it. I'm really not understanding the historical part of this because I'm not interested in that right now. We're just trying to build a game. So people have asked me, there's been the most asked questions and the number one and number two and number three. So the most asked question is, when are we going to see the game? Did you bring the game with you? What's game number two? If you knew everything you knew now a year ago, would you have done this again? And can I order my game now, my second game, and start paying you? So I'll try to just quickly answer a couple of those silly questions. Oh, and Steve Ritchie's going to come work for you. That's another one. So some of them I can answer, and some of them I can't. Game 2, we licensed the game for Game 2. It's going to be December of 2013. We're officially not announcing it. I think it's kind of a silly thing to talk about game number 2 when you didn't finish game number 1 yet. My right, Joanne, reminds me don't get too cocky because you didn't build anything yet. But now that she's actually seen us build a couple of games, she stopped saying that to me too. So that's kind of a good thing. She keeps me grounded and keeps me in reality, which is a wonderful thing. One of the things, that I always think about every day, and people say to me, you have a lot of pressure on you, and is anything bothering you with this whole process? And you get a little overwhelmed and all that. And thankfully, being in this business and in the industry for 36 years, on the commercial side of the industry, I have 2 lives. I have a commercial side of my life, and I have my wacky, mean, collector, geeky, freaky, way of loving pinball, as all of us take a share. So I don't look at it that way. I give every day to God, and I really thank God for everything that I've been able to do. I've been very fortunate, and I missed the party last night that some of my friends had in New Jersey, and they know, this guy, what is he doing all weekend? You mean he's flying around the country like playing pinball? Where do I sign up for that job? How do I get to be that guy? And I've been very lucky and I've been very blessed to be in the industry all this time, and still now getting to start a whole new company and create something. And I think for me personally, the journey has been the reward for me. And there's been a lot of days where, things didn't go right. We had issues with different things. We still have issues with things. But, if it was easy, the old thing would be everybody would be doing it. And they're not. But, when you're positive and you have faith and you take negative things and you take lemons and turn them into lemonade and lemon meringue pie and all that other stuff, people look and they also feel good and they believe too that you can do something. And a lot of people doubted us. We had vendors in the beginning that we went to, and we said to some of the vendors, well, maybe we want you to make these parts. And certain vendors received letters a year ago telling them basically, well, if you do business with that company, you probably won't do business with this company. So some of those vendors were scared out of doing business with us. So what we did was, what an entrepreneur does, you go over and under and through and around any obstacle that's put in your way. And we put people in business. We actually have people that invested tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars to do business with us. We have companies that went out, hired people, bought equipment, bought machinery, made commitments. We have our cabinet company. The guy bought a tractor trailer, and he's outfitting it with fixtures to transport 90 cabinets every week to our building in Lakewood, and the whole tractor trailer is going to be painted with the Jersey Jack logo. I mean, are you kidding me? Really? Really? Yeah, really. In fact, today, his truck is meeting my truck in the middle of Cleveland somewhere at a pilot truck stop, and they're transferring 25 cabinets from his truck to my truck today. And, you know, I look in the building and I see what we've done, and I see all the people, and every week we add more people to the company, and the payroll goes up a little bit, but I see things happen. I see games and games.
Is that Gary Stern's number? You gotta slide it.
Stockton Apple is gonna go down. That's on the iPhone 8. You're gonna be able to. That's pretty funny. So, you know, it's been really good. What I wanted to do also today was just give you a little bit of where we were from a year ago to today. I'm not talking about pieces of furniture and stools.
They want you really bad. Just answer it.
Tell them
You know, that's another thing. A lot of people call me because my phone number is, you know, on shirts and different things, and on the website and everything. And the old joke was, you know, people call me, and I talked to a guy the other day for like 20 minutes about the game and all details and everything. He was asking a million questions, which is fine. And I'm talking to him, and the guy says, you know, when you talk to Jack, tell him, I know he's busy, but, you know, just tell him that, you know, we're behind him and we're all excited and everything. I says, you've been talking to Jack. If I knew it was you, I wouldn't waste your time with this. Go back to work. Go get that. What the hell are you answering the phone for? Don't even answer the phone, so just take his advice. So I didn't answer the phone. There's some seats in the front. There's some seats around. If you got a seat next to you, put your hand up. You guys don't have to stand. Yeah, you can come on in. The room only holds like 30 or 40 people, so this is a lot of mirrors in here to make me feel good. So it's kind of cool. So, you know, a year ago, I stood up here. I think the room was arranged differently. I think it was the same room. I think the seats were that way. Now I got a voicemail here, which we can listen to. Who had that eggs? I don't know who that is. I think that's my electrician now that I think of it. That's his number. Okay, we're going to try to keep that in the right place? Okay, good. We have a priest that wears one of these things, and the guy talks up and he puts it here and nobody could hear him through the mask, except when he looks down to do the blessing. Father Tom, you know, he's like 80 years old. Father Tom, you got to put the thing up there. It's like, it's okay. If they hear it, they know what I'm saying. Okay, so we won't on to the voice for a while. So a year ago, I was really happy to have Rick Bartlett from Planetary Pinball here and Matt Cristiano, and we announced what I thought would be a great thing, like an alliance with them to have the rights to use Bally Williams parts, because I wasn't dumb enough to realize that I can't make my own parts. I want the greatest parts from the greatest games, in my opinion, is Bally Williams. So we got the rights to them and 40 patents and everything that goes along with that. And what I thought we were getting was all these really great drawings. And what turned out, it is a great agreement with them, and they're great people, Nat and Rick, wonderful people. And there's been a lot of things that we've created that they're able to sell and use now in the marketplace, and I'll get to that in a minute or two. But the drawings that they had were kind of not what you needed today to give to vendors. Some of them were incomplete, some of them needed to be translated, and Joe Balser and, you know, even Brian Hansen and people on our team Joe did the lion's share of it, but he created more than 600 drawings for all kinds of parts. And a lot of these parts, what happened to them is they were brought up to today, what today we believe they should be. So a lot of them really become Jersey Jack Pinball proprietary parts to us. While we didn't go and play around with the flipper coil and say, well, we can make something better than Williams. You know, the first game we knew was going to be the hardest because you're doing all that. So in the second game, Joe's not going to have to do 600 drawings. You know, but it was important to document everything. Everything we've done, we've protected everything. So when we created our I/O board, for example, and we used through-hole, let's call it technology. So through-hole technology, chips and sockets, things that are easily serviceable. It's because, you know, we have several hundred years worth of experience, you know, believe it or not, between all of us in pinball repair. So last year somebody stood up here and they said, well, me and Steve are the only people in the whole building that know how to build a pinball machine. And while I didn't take that personal, you know, okay, I've been fixing pinball machines since 1975, and I certainly, as an electronics technician, I certainly am able to know what goes into building a pinball machine. I surrounded myself with experts that knew a lot more than me because I like to be the dumbest guy in the room, and I like to learn. So yes, in a year's time, we've learned a lot, and I've learned a lot. Would I do everything exactly the same? Nobody would do everything exactly the same. I would have bought more Apple stock a year ago, and I would have done a couple of things differently. But all in all, we really, I don't want to say this to jinx us, but we really didn't fall in too many potholes that were too deep to get out of. And, you know, it really didn't hold us back. I'd love to be able to show you the artwork for the playfield right now, but we're having some little creative differences about, I never thought I'd say this, the Munchkins are giving me trouble. You know, the other day I was walking around the office, and there's an element of the game that involves a crystal ball that's mounted on the game. And I said, hey, where's my crystal ball? Where's my I'm like, did I actually say that? Did I say, where's my crystal ball? So it's kind of interesting. It's a silly thing. But anyway, so some of the things that would have delayed us, we've gone around certain things and we've done certain things to take up the slack. And, you know, people are sensitive about when they get their game. You know, I'm probably the least patient person right now in the whole process because I'm doing it the longest. So in my mind, you know, where's the game ready? But I've had an advantage because I've gotten to play the game. Not complete with rules because Keith has had a game home for more than a couple of months and he's working on it, and it's going to be a Keith Johnson, you know, masterpiece game, and there's going to be a lot to it. So let me stop. Let me take some questions. Then I'm going to show you some things here, and then we're going to have pizza. And then I'm going to go send all your regards to Milwaukee, I guess. All right, so anybody have any questions? No? That's pretty cool. Oh, look at this. Yes?
You got a ship date yet for Waz?
A ship date, you know, it's probably sometime June, July is realistic. We said in October at, you know, Pinball Expo that we didn't want to ship anything incomplete. You know, and we don't. I'll probably find myself laying in the driveway in front of a truck that's trying to leave if I didn't think the game should leave the building yet. And probably the truck driver will run me over. And then I don't have to worry about it anymore. Oh, yes.
What was the hardest part between last year and this year of building the game?
You know, the easy answer would be everything. But that's not the truthful answer. For me personally, my experience was different than, let's say, Joe, or let's say a number of the other people on the team. Because I wasn't physically doing, let's just take Joe for example. He did so many drawings that a couple of weeks ago when I was out at our office, we were looking at something he did because we were talking about a certain part. And he pulled up the drawing and he said, you know what, I don't even remember doing this. It was like so many long ago. So, project manager Jim Thornton, who's right now been in the middle of the bill of materials, arguing with vendors about price, parts, different things, He's at the office till midnight. He's got to drive home 2 hours one way to get home. Those guys, do I talk to them all the time? Am I on the phone with them? Am I there? Am I part of it? Yes, but it's not exactly the same. They look at me and they say, I don't know how you do what you do. And that's good, because you don't have to do it. And I look at them and I say, I don't know how you do what you do. And they say, that's good, because you don't have to do it. And it would be really boring if you had one person that could do everything. I don't know that you'd get really a great product. I think you get a better product when you really hire the best people, you let them loose and let them do what they want to do to a limit. Now, I'll tell you something about that part. I stood here and in many places and I said, we're not going to design games with a calculator. We're going to design games with passion. And I believe that. So, some of our vendors have come to us and say, well, Jack said he's not designing the game with a calculator, so, that's our... Well, that didn't mean Jack wants to get ripped off, okay? That's not what I meant. So let me explain to you what I mean. And, I get on the phone and, the conversation, I get my Brooklyn going, because even though I'm Jersey Jack, I'm born in Brooklyn, New York. Let's go to Brooklyn. I heard in Texas, you're wearing a Texas Ranger shirt?
No, arcade repair tips.
Oh, okay. Well, I see the Texas flag there. Don't mess with Texas. I heard, by the way, that they have at the stadium, they have a hot dog that's called a champion dog now. Did anybody hear about this thing? So it's 2 foot and 1 pound and $26. So you guys in Texas, don't mess with Texas. Okay? But then again, don't mess with somebody from Brooklyn. So anyway, I go to those vendors, Jim beats them up, and he gets them to where they're a little shangato, we would say in Italian, they're like this, and I get them the rest of the way. So, if we order 94,000 or something, and we can save a penny, that's $940 in our pocket and not in their pocket. And, now that they understand this is real, and we pay our bills immediately, we have no debt, the company has no debt, and it will have no debt, okay? So the power of being able to take out my Mont Blanc pen, that I'm famous for having one of them with me, and signing a check or wiring money to somebody immediately tells them, A, I gotta give this guy a better price, because the guy's paying me, okay? And B, he's serious. So money talks, and we know what else walks. So that's how I run the thing. So, the water wasn't cold, the water was a little chilly, but the water right now is boiling, so it feels really good. It feels like me being in my hot tub now. So that's what it feels like. Who else? Yes, sir.
Over the long term, are you guys considering maybe doing some non-licensed things?
Yes. I was speaking to somebody yesterday about doing a game that's not a licensed game. And I believe that's still something I want to do. It has to have the most important aspect of it, mechanical action, fun. So I can take money that's now directed towards a license, and let's just take a number. If you paid $100,000 for a license, okay, for something, the good thing is you got a license. So now we know The Wizard of Oz is going to tell the story of The Wizard of Oz. We have a lot of intellectual property that we licensed. And remember, this movie now is kind of timeless. Some people thought I was really lost my mind when I licensed that, and a lot of people now have said, oh, that was a wonderful idea. The Wizard of Oz turned 75 in 2014, and they're remastering the movie in 3D. So they're putting about $1 billion into that movie, and it's going to be re-released in 2,500 theaters, and it's going worldwide to countries that never saw The Wizard of Oz, non-English speaking countries. So millions of people are going to actually discover The Wizard of Oz. So what I said a year ago, when I said you couldn't go wrong with a 72-year-old movie, well, I can't go wrong with a 73-year-old movie or a 74-year-old movie or a 75-year-old movie. So we fully intend to keep the license, renew the license. My goal is to build, I don't know, as many Wizard of Oz games as I can build. I think I can build 15,000 games. That's what I think I can build. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we build 25,000 games. We're going to start off building like 15 games a day, which sounds kind of weird. So what's going on now in our building is As parts are coming in, we're learning how to build our game. So I went from a person that didn't know anything about building pinball machines to a person that actually is going to build his own pinball machine himself and then take it home. So we're dissecting how many people, how many workstations, how many parts, and a lot of the parts, what's going to happen is there's a lot of modular aspect of what we're doing. So we don't have, 25 women making wiring harnesses on big boards. So I'm sorry to tell you, when you come to the factory tour, you're not going to see that in my company. We have a company that making wiring harnesses for the space shuttle. So they could absolutely make wiring harnesses for a pinball machine company. So, I outsourced a lot of things, which is the way to do things today, I believe. Okay, I don't want to have a flipper assembly come to me in 15 parts. I said to the vendor, you want this order? Yeah, good. You assemble all the flipper assemblies. I don't need to be doing that. Okay? So a lot of those things that we've done already, they're already baked into what we're doing. If I needed to pay more for certain things, we paid more for certain things. Something that was very important to me is that I wanted this game to incorporate as many parts from the United States of America as possible. And I paid more in some cases to do that. It's not possible to get everything in this game that came from the United States. It's a global economy, it's a global world. You're not here for an economics lesson. You're all smart enough to know things come from China, things come from Asia, things come from Europe. Great, so any way that I had to do it, we did it. And I don't know what the percentage of the bill of material is American yet, and we'll have that number, but it's a high number. And all our games are going to be able to be worldwide citizens. So, we're going to comply with the CB scheme, which includes 45 countries. It'll be FCC, it'll be ETL, it'll be all the standards, where this game is going to go anywhere in the world. So if the game goes to Germany, it's going to be a Rojas game. If the game goes to Dallas, Texas, it's going to be a Rojas game. I don't believe we should be dumping lead in Europe, and I don't believe we should be dumping lead in the United States of America. Okay? So some of the decisions that I made are not based on money. They're based on what I wanted and what I believe you wanted and what our distributors wanted. Because as a distributor of pinball machines, I want to support our distributors the way maybe I wasn't supported all the time. I really didn't forget how I was treated. It didn't motivate me to put anybody out of business, okay? My intent is not to put Stern Pinball out of business, okay? My intent is to make pinball go and be played by new generations of people that never played pinball before. Because young people, they play like really great games on their iPhones or their mobile devices or whatever. They play Angry Birds, they play all this kind of stuff. Some of the young people in the room play pinball because of you guys, the adults, because they grew up with it. It was in the basement, like my daughter, like my son. They grew up in the amusement industry, and they play pinball, and they got to love it for what it is and what we love it for. Unfortunately, pinball now has become something relegated to a museum. God bless the Pacific Pinball Museum, and Vegas, and Washington D.C. Yes, pinball does not belong in a museum. It's not, Sue the dinosaur at the Field Museum in Chicago, all right? It's not a dinosaur. It's a living, breathing thing that belongs to everybody. And with the technology that we have in this game, the mechanical action, the LCD, the animation, the music, the sound, the light show, okay, the rules, when you get better into it, that's why I want to play the game. I didn't really design this thing to be a game for me, a geek, pinball player, collector. At first, we understand that a lot of us are going to buy the game, okay? But this is designed to be operated on a route. It's designed to be in every Chuck E. Cheese. It's designed to be in every FEC. It's designed to be in a bar for drunk people to play. First of all, I don't think drunk people should be in a bar, okay? And I don't really agree with the fact that pinball is relegated to the old-fashioned image. Every time we see a pinball article in the newspaper today, you see Fiorello LaGuardia pushing over a game, and you hear the old ringtone of bells, of xylophone bells. Bullshit. This game's going to be on Jimmy Fallon, because he's a customer. This game's going to be in mainstream America. Lady Gaga is going to come to our building and pick up one of these things, okay? All those people, we got, pinballsales.com has 12,000 customers that we sold everything nobody needs to. We have, yeah, that's our trademark saying. It's actually trademark, so don't steal it, filthy animal. We sell everything nobody needs. I own that saying. Actually, Butch gave me a great saying too. Last year, he coined the phrase, Jack of all trades, master of fun. I kind of like that, so we trademarked that also. Thank God, I have a great patent attorney. His name is Harris Wallen, and the guy, he works for Shrimp Scampi, I think. He's a great guy. We trademark everything, we patent protect everything. Every day, I'm electronically signing my name online with something else that we're protecting. Because we're creating IP for our company, okay? And I don't want to get ripped off, because a lot of people, when they can't create, they imitate, okay? When they can't innovate, they imitate. And imitation is flattering, but you know what? I've been flattered enough. It's enough with that stuff. And that's another reason why I haven't shown you guys a lot of stuff. Because I don't want it to get ripped off.
Yeah.
One day I said I'm using decals on my cabinet. The next day somebody else is using decals on their cabinet. Maybe today I'm not using decals on my cabinet. Who knows what I'm doing? I don't know. But you know what? You're going to know soon enough. There'll be a game on location in New Jersey around the beginning of May. It'll be at I Play America, a really great amusement center that's a big indoor amusement park. And we'll have a game in there. It won't be what you're getting. It'll be close to what you're getting, because I'm not going to put every bell and whistle and everything on it, because I want you to experience a big surprise when you get your games or when you see them at a later stage. Just because that's me. I just don't think everything should be known, I think a girl in a bikini is still prettier. Well, we won't go. So, any more questions?
I have a question.
Yes, sir. You got the same shirt as him.
Yeah, arcade repair tips.
Cool.
From last year to this year now, how much staff growth have you seen?
In our company? Well, we went from one person to about 30 people. So, I said it years ago, it's funny, in my personal life and my business life, I said I'm not participating in the recession. Okay, and I've written that in my articles in Replay Magazine, and I said that I don't believe in that. All of our employees, I believe they're paid well, they all get benefits, they're all happy, okay? And happy is a real hard thing to qualify as being happy, but I believe they're happy because I'm still an employee of the company. They don't work for me, I work with them. Okay, I don't knock down people to make me look big. I raise people up so that I feel good that we're all together. So my philosophy of my life, because of my belief and because my blood type is B positive, I can never be negative. Okay? And that's true. My blood type is when I donate blood. I found out years ago your blood type is B positive. Well, that makes sense. So I'm not negative. I don't want to harbor a grudge against anybody. I don't burn bridges with people. I have people that I've lent money to just to get rid of them out of my life so I don't have to see them again because I knew they wouldn't pay me back. It's really easy to lend somebody money when you know the guy's going to pay you back. It's real difficult to lend somebody money when you know he's not going to pay you back. And what it is what it is. Everything in life is round. It all comes back. And I do believe in karma also. So, there's a lot of it. Everything in me, I'm only one person. I can only be one way. And I have to be that way in my personal life and in my business life. And, when we meet each other as co-workers, we hug each other, we kiss each other. It's not an Italian thing where, hey, you get whacked or something. We're not kissing on each other. I know we're from Jersey. But, that's not what it's about. So, yeah, I don't even know if I answered your question. Listen, I'm running for president in 5 years. We gotta fix
Run
this
this
country, we
year.
really do. Whoever
Run
gets
this
in
year.
there, I don't wanna make a political statement, because like, you go see Bruce Springsteen, and the guy makes a political statement, we're going, ooh, I don't care to come and hit your politics, just shut up and sing. Yes. Wait, I got the guy with the hat, I'll come back to you.
What would, I guess, out of the features that you can talk about, what is the feature of the new game that you're most proud of, I guess?
You know, I don't know, that's a real good question. I haven't been asked that one, because it's a lot, you know, the easy answer again is the whole game. Because here's a game, you have a wide body game in the Bally Williams style, and a wide body hasn't been done. Contrary to what you've been told, playing a wide body game is not like playing tennis on a round tennis court, okay? Your flippers are still in the same spot, okay, and you picked up real estate on the side. Silly of somebody to say that, but that's not the case. So you have 5 flippers, you have 2 upper playfields, you have 4 magnets on the game, okay? You have we're gonna have to go through the bill of materials on this game for all of the what and why and how much and everything like that it has. You know, all the boards in the game, they're not mounted in the head of the game, they're mounted in the body of the game. In the head of the game is the LCD. You don't have to climb up on a ladder, everything is in the modular cage. Your play field, you saw those beefy bars that we had for the Bally Williams and the shot, those are on the game. You're gonna be able to slide your play field out, unplug your play field, take it away. You can work on your game real easy. Why did that happen? Well, because we're thinking about today. Because I'm an electronics technician, and I'm a player, and I'm an operator, and I'm a distributor, and I'm a manufacturer, and I'm a collector, and on and on. So who is gonna do this? So for the first time, you guys actually have a collector that owns a pinball company, and actually somebody that plays pinball and has a passion for it, that owns a pinball company, all right? So, you know, I don't want to get too cocky, because, you know, I'm not saying it, I'm not bashing anybody. I want everybody to pick their game up, okay? I don't want them to run away. I don't want to be the last guy building pinball machines in the world. I don't think that's a good thing, because that L, you're a loser. You're a loser if you're the last guy in the world building a pinball machine. That just tells me, like, I have a product that's not relevant enough for anybody else to think it's worthwhile to build this thing. How boring would the world be if there was only one car company, or one bakery, or one pizzeria, or one girl to choose to spend the rest of your life with, you know, that you didn't at least go out with another guy or another girl to say, I don't like this girl, she's nasty, I like that girl, she's pretty. We're human beings, you know, we want a choice. We want a choice, you know, so it's kind of cool.
You actually started answering my question when you were talking
Good,
about...
next.
I'm a person that, while I can't spend $8,000 on a machine to own, I can spend $5 on a machine on location, and I'm looking forward to doing that. And around 97 or so, Williams was trying to address operators' needs, the things that they were complaining about. They put the rails on and made a whole bunch of little innovations to try to make pinball without an operator.
Right.
What are some of the other things that you've done to try to make machines operator-friendly, where an operator feels good buying a pinball machine instead of just a driving game or something?
So in that, you know, a warranty is not measured in the amount of days. The primary warranty on the game is 1 year, which covers a lot of parts, a lot of major components, drivetrain, engine, things like that. Our distributors are able to offer a 2-year and a 3-year warranty on the game as well. So it's not 60 days or 90 days. You know, we're not going to run away. I'm going to tell you, I said this in Ohio, somebody asked me a similar question, and if the game's out of warranty and it needs an I/O board, and, you know, for some reason it's our fault that it needs the board, I'll come to your house, I'll change the board, you're not going to pay anything for that. Because that's what I did when I was Stern's biggest distributor, and we were selling thousands of games. You know, we did a 3-year warranty on a Stern pinball machine, and that's why we were able to build, you know, a customer base, and that's why we were able to support our customers, and that money came out of my left pocket. You know, there were many service calls that Larry and Steve and John and even me did that were free because we sold a new game at that time for $3,500 or $4,000. Somebody told me they're $8,000 now. I don't know how that happened, but they went from $3,500 to $4,000. And now, a week later, like, your flipper stopped working. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna go to Mrs. Jones' house an hour away and charge you $100 to fix your flipper? I don't think so. I think Steve's going, he's doing what he's gotta do, and you're not paying anything. And I'd rather have a goodwill in the bank. So the same thing, so think about it. If I did that for a company that I didn't own, what am I gonna do for a company I do own? It's gonna be endless, it's gonna be seamless. By default, and not really my choice, my name is on the company. So that's another thing. So it's my reputation of 36 plus years in the industry. And I have my daughter works for the company now, Jen. And my son, when he gets out of college, he's gonna work for the company. Because we have several companies that do different things in the amusement industry. So it's pinball, and it's other games that we build, and other games that we design, and all that. So we do that for operators now. You know, so I think the support's going to be there, and we'll continue to prove that. And what we're going to do also along that line, you know, Butch Peel, where are you? Okay. That guy, Butch Peel, okay, he's going to head up, you know, a service team in the U.S. He's going to be the guy that goes out, like years ago, they had different people at different companies. When Bally introduced their new operating system, it wasn't even called an operating system, I guess, with 8-Ball, there was a guy, his name was Bernie Powers. You remember Bernie Powers, Steve? Remember Bernie Powers? No. So Bernie Powers went out, and I was a dumb technician, you know, and I remember sitting in a room with maybe 40 other operators, and Bernie taught everybody all about the game. Well, Butch is going to be doing that. He's going to be the guy that goes to our distributors around the country and sets up service seminars and support groups for servicing our game. But remember, we really didn't reinvent the wheel. We used a lot of standard familiar parts, and we didn't do anything really radical with them. We didn't do Pinball 2000 with a monitor and the play field and all the shots going there. So when I look at the game now, I tell you what, to me, it's like, this game is really simple, because I understand the game, of course. But, you know, brain surgery is difficult if you're not brain surgeon. So, but you don't have to be a brain surgeon to fix this game. So, you had a question?
Yes, you may have already answered this too. But,
Good.
why was The Wizard of Oz chosen as a theme or a game?
So, you know, there was a whole bunch of themes we were looking at, and one of the themes as a kid, you know, and we talked to those people, and there's a great guy that works in our industry and works for our company, Drew Maniscalco, and he does a lot of our licensing, among a million other things he does. And, you know, they kind of never got back to us. They were being very aloof, and they were saying, well, we got a movie coming out in a few years. And okay, great. And he went to Warner Brothers, and they had a whole load of titles. And there was a lot of really good titles. And one of the titles was The Wizard of Oz. And as soon as I saw that, Drew at the time, now lives in New Jersey, but he was in Florida, and I called him right back and I said, get me The Wizard of Oz. And his response was, really? Right, really? Okay, I'll work on that. And we got it, and it was an expensive license. It's a difficult license to deal with. They have 2 full-time historians that protect that brand. And there's a whole process of approvals. And Disney right now is working on a movie called whatever with James Franco. They're working on a movie. So right now, Disney is kind of trying to come in and horn on what Warner Brothers owns, and Warner Brothers is going, listen, we own this, we own this, we own this, we own this. So for example, on our playfield, where it said flying monkeys, okay? They don't own the word flying monkeys. That's just something in the public. They own the word winged monkeys. So in the game, they're wing monkeys. You all know they're flying monkeys, right? So, anybody here a lawyer? Get out. No, I'm only kidding. You know, this is what it is. It's about protecting things, and you know, it's their intellectual property. We're in a very litigious society, and you know, you have two behemoth companies like Disney and Warner Brothers. Why did I get it? Because it appeals to young, it appeals to old, boy, girl. I don't need a pinball machine that's all death and fire and brimstone and comic books and men and women and everything else that goes there, okay? I don't want to ignore the smarter and fairer sex, the women. Okay? Thank you. Thank you very much. And that's true, I believe in that, okay? So, and the funny thing, you know, my daughter, when she was little, Jenny would watch The Wizard of Oz like 500 times a day. And she'd get a little basket. I gotta find the video tape. She'd get a little basket and play Dorothy and have a little dog. When my age, okay, well, The Wizard of Oz only came on TV once a year. So this was a big family event. You remember it? Yeah. Aunt Eleanor used to fall asleep watching it, and this one, they would make, one of my friends that owns a big arcade in New Jersey, Wayne Cimarelli, he's telling a story to Jen in the office a few weeks ago, and he says, I love The Wizard of Oz. And this guy's like 60 years old, which is not old. He says, I love The Wizard of Oz because that would be the one time of the year they would make Jiffy Pop. And I would get Jiffy Pop. This movie, it holds so many memories for so many people, and those people want to share that memory with the new generation. And why else? The artwork, the vivid storytelling of what the movie is. You know, it's not a slapstick comedy, but there's a lot of funny things happen in that movie. And it's really a story that after you watch it 500 times, you don't really know if Dorothy actually went to Oz or she had a dream when she got hit on the head with the window frame. You still don't know that. Every single time I watch that movie, and I've still watched it now a lot. I've learned so much about The Wizard of Oz. Jen and some of our people have gone to Wizard of Oz conventions, and we've been, people that are Wizard of Oz collectors, well, guess what? They rival us as pinball collectors, I gotta tell you that. Those people, you wanna see group, you know, I've seen some shows where people get dressed up as pinball machines. You know, Mike does the Chicago show, Expo. Go to a Wizard of Oz convention. You'll see a lot of Dorothys, you'll see a lot of Tin Men, you'll see a lot of scarecrows, you'll see a lot of scary things. Lions and tigers and bears, oh my. So it's a really great, wonderful property. I created another game before I created the pinball. Another company I was working for, that I created a redemption game for them, a big pusher that's like $50,000, that it's been making $5,000 a day in certain locations in the amusement world. So I'm kind of like the person, I'm going to be known as the Wizard of Oz in our industry now because I brought the Wizard of Oz to our industry. Roger Sharp brought it to slot machines, and it's consistently the #1 slot machine around the world. I think they have 7 or 8 different model Wizard of Oz. Now when I go to Atlantic City and I play the Wizard of Oz and I lose $300, I say, I ask my accountant, can I write that off as research? No, you cannot. So, you know, it's kind of interesting. Yes?
So how do we buy one and can we get a discount because we listen to the lecture?
You know, if anybody got a discount talking to me, my wife is certainly entitled to any discount because she's had to put up with me since like she's 15 years old. Here's the deal with that. Jersey Jack Pinball, this company, has been sold out since last July. Some distributors have games, okay? So online, there's a list of distributors. Some guys have games, including pinballsales.com. So the funny thing was, my left hand bought 100 games from my right hand so that we would have games. And they were selling so fast that I said, well, Jen actually was her idea, give her credit again, because she said, you know, there's people that aren't going to know this stuff that's going on every day, and it's going to be silly that they're going to want to buy a limited edition game like a year from now. She said this last year, and you're not going to have a game, because what are you going to say? You don't have a game and you own a company. How come I can't buy a game? So I had to buy games, and we put them on this site. So she's under 20 games right now, I know, I I know that when we release the artwork of the playfield, whoever's got games, does goodbye games. You know, they're selling already in Australia and the UK for like 12, 13 grand. You know, people are, you know, going crazy. Now, there is the regular games. So let me just say this about that. I sound like Richard Nixon saying that. So, regular game, regular Wizard of Oz. What's different about it than Emerald City, which I'm surprised nobody asked me today, which is a question I get asked. So, I don't believe in taking things off the game. I don't believe in changing the software. I don't think I should build a game and then let me pull out the few toys or a few things that are on the game and take them out and make all these different model games. I don't want to be General Motors. General Motors went bankrupt, okay, doing that, you know. So here's what I did. Emerald City Limited Edition, it's up there. I can actually, well, whatever. I see Martin up there. Oh, now I'm up there. Okay, so the difference, Emerald City Limited Edition has got green, you know, because of the Emerald City. So the body armor and everything is green, emerald. It's a numbered game, so the first 1,000 games are numbered. There's a signed plaque that goes with the game that's signed by the design team. There's a shaker motor in it, and there's what we call Invisiglass. So it's our version of non-reflective glass on the game, which we did. It's up on the pinballsales.com website. There are pictures showing regular glass, the glass that comes from Germany that Pinball Decal sells, and Invisiglass. The camera shows more than what the eye sees. Our glass is superior to their glass. We worked on it a year. It is. And it comes from the United States also. So that's the difference. Now, regular game. First 1,000 regular games. They're numbered. They have a plaque. They have a different sign certificate. Oh, and Emerald City has a special interactive topper, okay, on the game, which is the Emerald City topper. So regular game is just called Wizard of Oz. It's silver like the Bally games were, okay, so it's that finish. So it's not chrome, but it's you know, like the stainless steel look. It's numbered certificate that's signed by me, Keith, and Joe, and probably Greg and a couple other people to throw that in there too. Don't cost anything to force them to sign anything. And no shaker and no Invisiglass, and a different topper. Now, you can be like Burger King. You can have it your way. You want to add Invisiglass, it'll be $295. You want a shaker motor, it'll be, you know, $180, whatever it is for a shaker motor. Okay, you want a propeller on it, make it fly around the building, we'll put that on there for you too. Why not? Why not? You know, why should I not let you make what you want? If you want to buy the green molding and you want to do that, fine. Now, let me just say something about numbers too. That answered your question?
Yeah.
Okay, let me say something about numbers too. You know, Adam's Family Gold started this whole thing with number games, special edition games. I'm guilty in getting involved with this because we did Monopoly Platinum games, then we started doing some different number games. I did them through pinballsales.com without really the approval of Stern Pinball, and they kind of looked at it and they said, you know, this is not something to do, and it's crazy. And, you know, when I forced Stern to make Shrek, which was a collaboration of an idea between me and Gary, and I told Gary Stern to make it with green legs, I still have the email where he lectured me about the fact that Toyota only used black and brown interior, and that you can't have all these choices, and having green legs on the game is going to cost more money and this and that and everything else. And I wrote him back, just put the blank green legs on the game, okay? Now, they own a shoe store, okay? They got every color, shape, size, whatever you could imagine for the game. I'm not a Stern distributor, and thank goodness, because I'd be too confused to be a Stern distributor today. I got to stock 14 different games to have the right size shoe for your foot to fit in. That's not my company. That's not what I'm doing, okay? That's good. That's their business model. It's different than mine. It's not wrong. It's just different. God bless them. I hope they sell 1 million games, so we sell 2 million games. Yes, sir.
Are you concerned that prices keep going up so do you think there's like a situation where the operators sort of kill off and just on the line just are left with the collectors?
So, you know, I just alluded to the fact that I created the Wizard of Oz pusher, okay, and it's a $50,000 game. So I stood at an IAPA show in 2010, and everybody fell on the floor. And I told everybody, it doesn't matter what the game costs, it matters what the game makes. And I wrote articles about it and everything like that. Because when I operate and I go look at a new game, the question I ask is, what kind of money is it doing? And the distributor or manufacturer would say, well, it's doing, $1,000 a week on the moon. Well, how many you want? Well, give me the one that's on the moon then, okay? Because it's not going to do that for me. Give me what reality is. So I believe this game is going to do a lot more than what a brand new pinball machine makes on location now, which is typically $30 or $40 or $50 a week in the beginning, and it goes down to $20 or $30 a week, and that's why you can put a whitewater or a flash or pick any game, throw a dartboard at it, and it's going to make the same money. So as an operator, why do you have to spend $5 or $6 grand for a game that makes $30 a week? You don't, and you don't, and that's why you don't buy the game. So what we're going to do for operators, we're going to have a special lease and finance program for operators to encourage them to put games on location. We're going to put a bill acceptor on your game for free. I'm going to go in my pocket and spend $250 and buy a Mars bill acceptor, put it on your game, okay? Your game is going to have other electronic means of receiving payment, which I'm not disclosing today, okay? So people are going to have other options to put money into the game. We're not in the coin-operated amusement business anymore. I don't have any coins on me, okay? And my kids don't have any money on them, okay? They have cards. If I go out of the house with less than $3,000 on me, I feel naked, right? They go out, Jen, you got 20, she like, I got $2. What do you, she got a card, because everything's different today. So getting the money into your game when you get it is going to be easy, because when people see the game, they're going to lose their mind. And they're going to have to play the game. And then when they play the game, they're going to have to play the game again. And because it's going to be fun. That's the key. It's not going to matter what the game costs. You're going to be telling me, and those guys that fought me about buying a $50,000 pusher, once it made money for them, and they started making, some of them were making $5,000 a day. It's a 6-player game on the Jersey Shore, okay? We were flying them in from Europe for $6,000 air freight to get them into their locations just so they had the game. So it didn't matter anymore.
One follow-up question.
You're not allowed to follow up questions. Yes?
So your average mean time?
We're not interested in that. We don't care. Stay on, if you're going to play $1 to play the game, it's not a quick coin redemption game where you go like this with a crane for $1 and it's done with. You want to get value for your money, A lot of times I buy something for $10 and I think I got ripped off, and I buy something for $10,000 and I'm thrilled with it. So it's all perceived value. So the perceived value of your gameplay, it's got to be there. And that's what's being built into the game too. All right? I didn't even show anything. Yes?
The playfield issue, is it an issue with the remaining living munchkins, or is it an issue with corn?
Is this a legal question? No. And the munchkin with Jerry Seinfeld is an actor. That's not really one of the munchkins in that commercial. No, it's got to do with doing something they want to do, and we want to do what we want to do. So, when a movable force meets an immovable object, something's got to happen sooner or later, so we'll see what happens. But in any event, it's not going to deter what we're going to do. We got plan A, plan B, plan C, Greg just keeps drawing, he doesn't care. Yes?
As a player, other than the Wizard of Oz, what is your favorite game of all time?
So, I was asked this question this morning, so I'll just tell you what's at my house. So I have a Cyclone that I love, I have a Buckaroo that I love, I have a Rocky and Bullwinkle, I have an Austin Powers, I have a Simpsons, I have a Family Guy, which is a great game, I have a Wizard, I have a Captain Fantastic, I have a Star Trek 25th anniversary, I have one other game, what the heck is it? Over there in that corner. There's something else in the corner of my mind, I don't know what.
It's not that one.
It's not that one. It's not a fun house. No, it's not a fun house. I don't know what the heck it is. I'll have to go downstairs. No, I think that's it. What else is next to that? Austin Powers, I said. Whirlwind. No, I have a Cyclone. My whirlwind I sold to my friend George, who owns Queen Anne Ravioli in Brooklyn, and it's in his basement. And every holiday time I get ravioli comes to the door. So that was a good trade. Plus I get to go over there once in a while and play the game too. So yeah, George Switzer, great guy.
Probably a hard body.
Huh?
Probably a hard body.
No, I don't think it's a future spot either. Yes, sir.
So, for the next game, I know you're focused on this game, but are you doing the same design, or would you bring in different designs?
For the next game, we have our designer lined up already. Game 3, Game 4, Game 5, there's a deep bullpen of people that are waiting to get on the field. I frustrated a couple of them, unfortunately, and I only had one kitchen and one stove and one thing we could do at a time. Maybe we're going to be able to do more than one or two things at a time, as we go down the road. I really, why is it when you get a magnifying glass and you point the sun, you could burn a hole in something and you could make a laser beam, right? That's focus. That's what enables you to do that. If you're scattered all over the place and you're working on all kinds of different things, you're not going to get anything done. So that's kind of what it is with the first game for me. But I did have to go get the second license because it became available, and I bid on it, and I beat out another pinball company for it. I don't know who they are, but and we have it, and we're going to do it. We're going to do a kick-ass game with it. We're going to do the person that gave us the license believed in us more than the other company because they gave us the license. So that must say something. Okay, let me show you a couple things, if I can, all right? Because is the pizza out there yet? Okay, it's going to be out there. Good. Let's go to By the way, today our group is a year old. So who's on our group? So the group is a year old today. And it gets a lot of use. There's a lot of crazy people, and me included, that write on the group. And it's really cool. There's a lot of fun things discussed up there. And it was a great way to build a community and get everybody together. All right, you wise guys. So, let's go somewhere where I could actually show you something. So, here's another animation. We've only shown a couple of animations, have been a lot of them that have been created. This is one that you would see when, so we have a flying monkey that's going to come down, and there's a magnet that captures your ball, and that flying monkey is going to take the ball back up to the witch's castle and drop it behind the door, and you're going to have to get up there and spell rescue and free dart and free the ball. So, I don't want to make a game that's all flow or stop and go. We want to combine a lot of different elements. So when you have 4 magnets on a game, and 2 of them are the witch playing around with you, and 2 of them are something where you might pause the ball or stop it for a second, we got to have you do something. And again, going back to my young people thought about who's playing pinball, us old people, we play pinball, and we look like this. We look at the ball, we don't look up, we're afraid to look up. Well, unfortunately, young people, they drive and they text. They go like this. So they're going to come and find the pinball machine, and they're going to go to the game, and they're not going to have any problem at all. Look it up, and they're playing the ball. Hey, that's good. I can play that. That's what I'm hoping on. Okay? They're a little bit more sophisticated today. at their young, tender ages than we were. I mean, I was happy playing with dirt and Tonka trucks in New York. If I give a kid today dirt and a Tonka truck, okay, Dyfus is going to take me away because I'm torturing the kid that I made him playing something where he can get sick. He can put the dirt in his mouth, he might get sick, the truck is metal, he might get cut, he can go to the hospital. It goes, I don't want to say it. Okay. So, let's go try to do this. God bless Steve Jobs, my iPad. Thank you. Oh! And these have been approved already, so I can show you them. Different elements, different characters have been rotoscoped out of the movie so that we're able to use them and then capture them and then do something with them in the game. So this is a locking balls for Emerald City multi-ball. By the way, no pictures. Anybody like that? Yeah. I didn't do it. John Paul did that in Holland. He's amazing. We have about 6 artists that work on this game. And every day I go to a secure site. Well, not every day, every once in a while. And there's so much more stuff that gets put up there and everything. It's very exciting for me to see what's going on up there. Let me go to a different device. And let's show, I don't know how much of what I can show here. Let's play some music. Really? Really? You're kidding me, right? Really? Come on with the lock on this thing. Give me a bucket. That'll be, that'll work. Uh-oh, there's some artwork there on the playfield. Uh-oh. Well, all right, so let's go here. So you know these trees? This is one of the matte things that I did show that's real, because I have showed you guys, you know, sometimes I'm a liar. Sorry. No, I'm not really. That was a lie too. Sometimes I'm a little deceptive about certain things that we've done with the game. So I have shown some things that really are not going to exist. Imagine why I would do that. But, you know, next Tuesday night, they're having general absolution at my church. It's Easter time, so I can sit there and say, I'm sorry. Not really, not a mortal sin. So anyhow, you have the trees and apples and all that cool stuff. These ramps, this is a little older, so these ramps, they're not shown with the green powder coating that they have. Some of the other pictures that we have shown have that. You kind of get a little idea what's going on. That's the haunted forest. You're going to be able to make this shot with the right upper flipper through there. What you see up here is the Witch's Castle playfield. where that ramp comes down. And those trees, when you hit them, they're gonna kind of go like that kind of thing, you know? So they're gonna look like they're doing that, and they're gonna say things like, well, I don't want to tell you what they're gonna say, but you can imagine what they're gonna say. I don't want any of those apples. You don't want any of my apples. So, that kind of stuff. Let me see if there's one more thing I could find. I don't know about that. No, can't show you that. No. Okay, well, have a nice day. I feel like I should show you like one more thing. Let me see if I can find something to show you. Jack, you should have been more prepared. No, maybe I'm not. Couple more days. You'll have to wait. Sorry. I'll show you one more animation. Let's do that. Let's do a cool one. Let me find another one. Hang on. Hello? Hello? Come on, this thing can't cooperate. Here we go. Got dead air. All right, let's do this one. Keith is going to be mad at me.
That's cool.
So, and you guys like that music? That was Chris's music. Do that one more time. Could I get everybody up here that ordered a game? Come on. Everybody that ordered a Wizard of Oz game, come on up. Is this thing going to collapse? Is this like one of those soccer things they have? Like, is that what it is? I hope not, because that would be pretty bad, you know? Come on up. Come on. I don't know. Yeah, don't jump. I don't know. So, all of you guys bought games? Yeah. Really cool. That's really cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's really wonderful. Let's take, can somebody take a picture? You like what you're seeing so far? Yes. Exactly. Good. We're going to make something really awesome, something really great that you're going to love for a long time, many, many years. I don't think you're going to be selling this game in 3 months or 6 months or a year. You should have bought 2. One to keep and one to sell. A couple people did that, and they're probably not going to sell either one. We got some shirts we're going to give away, right? Yeah, they're right down here. Where are they? They are? All right, so I don't know how that's going to happen, really. This is not loaves and fishes, I don't think. I don't think you're going to multiply these among whatever. We'll put them somewhere, right? We'll get a hand to do it. I got to leave in like, well, I got an hour. I think I got an hour. And we'll have pizza and stuff like that. So we took some pictures. You know what I wanted to do? Jen's going to be mad. because I gotta take some pictures. So like, maybe I'm gonna like video everybody, because you guys get to video me. So like, hey everybody. Hey! Everybody say Jersey Jack. Jersey Jack! All right, look at that. And this is all the people that ordered games. This is everybody.
Hi, Jan.
Wish you were here.
All right. So that's the whole group that ordered games. And that's everybody in the audience. And they're taking pictures of us. And we're taking pictures of them. And we're going to eat pizza, and we're not getting any. It's not Brooklyn pizza, but it's Texas pizza. It's big pizza. It's a proud pizza. Don't mess with Texas. You know that?
That's right, we'll
And you know what? I don't think I recorded any of that.
Do it again.
All right, right now on video. All right, let's start that over again. Hey, everybody, let's say Jersey Jack. Okay. It's a good thing I'm building pinball machines and not doing photography work, because I can tell you I have zero experience in photography work. I have 36 experience in pinball, but no photography. Boom, boom. Oh, we just lost Jersey Jack. He just fell at home. Few people will be happy. Okay. All right, thank you all. That's good. When are you talking? When are you speaking?
What?
When are you doing your presentation? 5:30. I'm going to be in the air.
Yeah.
So I'll have to watch it on the internet. Try to be as good as me. Don't be schlocky or anything.
It's not hard.
That was such a love fest. You dirty. All right, let's put the t-shirts out and let's go have pizza. All right, everybody. So that's it. Thank you.